Hey girls, hope you're having fun at your meeting. It'll probably look like I'm looking down in the video since I don't usually record videos and I'm referencing notes as well on my laptop. But anyway, my name's Angela Wynn and I graduated from UT with a degree in biochemistry, a minor in French, a BDP certificate in social inequality, health and policy with a concentration in public health. Okay, that was a mouthful. But I currently go to Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine here in Fort Worth. I was a co-social chair of Kappa Rho my senior year. And what's my intended profession? Obviously a doctor. But specialty-wise, I have no idea yet. And I think it's perfectly okay not to know, since I know a lot of first years or a lot of second years I've talked to, they still don't know. And I feel like you won't actually know until you start doing your rotations third year and get a feel of what each specialty has to offer. So let's get on with the questions. First question. What personality qualities do you think med schools look for in a medical student? Okay, well, I think especially one who is independent but also dependent. I know that's kind of like everything. But one who can lead, but also is able to work well in a group or team setting. Because let's face it, you're going to be working in a health professions team in the future. You're going to be working with pharmacists, PAs, PTs, maybe, nurses. It's not just going to be you. It's going to be a team. Let's see. One who is also personable and has good bedside manners. I think this is a quality that sometimes is overlooked because you think of all like, oh, doctors should know everything medically related, but you want to have like a, I guess, human quality associated with being a doctor as well. You don't want a doctor who just goes in and out trying to see as many patients as possible. You want a doctor who basically gives you the time of day, right? A good doctor should also accept the fact that they won't be able to know everything there is about medicine. Let's face it, technology and new discoveries are constantly changing our views about medicine and treatment. And with that said, I think you should also be very curious. Um, you'll be in a profession that will consist of a lifetime of learning, whether it be from learning from scientific papers or your peers or your patients. Okay, let's see. Next question. What event, class, organization, thing would you say has prepared you the most for medical school? As far as classes, I think Dr. Finkley's genetics class was a good one. I definitely learned and retained so much information from her class, and I think it also helped that I was a preceptor too, but in general, her class was really good. It was definitely challenging, but I definitely learned a lot and retained a lot. Another class was Dr. Draper's neurophysiology class. By far, those two are probably the hardest classes I've taken at UT. And physics was hard too, but that's a totally different story. That's a different kind of hard, I think. I just got more frustrated with that. Um, One of the things I wish I had done was take the systems physiology course. It's the other physiology class that they offer at UT, and I feel like if you have the opportunity, I would take that one because it covers basically everything that's not neuro related, and it would serve as a good foundation for your MCAT or even just medical school in general, I think. Um, I don't have personal experience, but I think if I had taken that, I think I might be in a better shape. But yeah, there wasn't necessarily any event, but just being involved in organizations definitely help you grow as a person. You definitely grow and learn and develop your leadership and team skills. Be involved in whatever fascinates you because you won't get opportunities like this in the future. For example, I had an opportunity to intern at AIDS Services of Austin, and that definitely helped me realize that I really had an interest in helping those with HIV and AIDS or infectious disease, and I also wanted to get more involved in public health. Another thing I was involved with in undergrad was UHS's Clinic Volunteer Program as well as SHAC, and I definitely encourage you all to apply if you haven't already. Those were really great opportunities, especially Clinic Volunteer. It's one of the best opportunities I had while at UT. You basically get a lot of patient interaction on campus, and I know that was a big deal for me because I did not have a car. I didn't have a car until probably last half of junior and senior year. So I would take the bus everywhere, and if I wanted to shadow, I had to find somewhere close. And I feel like learning about the clinic volunteer programs, like that's the perfect thing for me because it was on campus, it was close, and it's a good opportunity to just get hands-on experience. And you learn to take blood pressure, pulse, a lot of the triage type skills. And in your free time, you can ask to shadow the doctors that work at the clinic. You can watch them perform procedures, and yeah, if they're too busy during while you're volunteering, you can definitely ask them to go back and shadow at another time. Shadowing is a big thing, I think. I know Kappa Rho has a lot of wonderful shadowing opportunities lined up for you guys. And it was definitely some of the things I struggled with my freshman and sophomore year, just trying to find doctors to shadow, especially. It was really difficult to shadow them in hospitals. But I know Kappa Rho has some good doctors lined up, and I say shadow as many doctors as you can, different types of doctors, because it's just good to get a good feel of different types of specialties. Okay, next question. Do you think it's less productive to major in something that does not have a lot to do with being a doctor, like marine biology? I don't think so. Not less productive. But I say major in whatever you want. Major whatever you're interested in, because in the end, all pre-meds have to take the same core science classes. While majoring in something in science related will definitely help you, I don't think you're any less of a disadvantage. I'd say just do whatever you're interested in, because I actually have a classmate who is a business major. And I actually think that they have a different perspective, and it's really good to have just different perspective on situations. It's good to have different opinions. Since I go to a DO school, question was, what is so different about DOs versus MDs? Okay, well, DO stands for a doctor of osteopathy, and MD is your traditional medical doctor. Medically, education-wise, we're not too different. We have the same basic training as MDs. We just have an additional thing we have to learn, which is called OMM, or Osteopathic Manipulative Medicine. And I know many DOs use osteopathic manipulative treatment on their patients. But I've also heard that some DOs don't even use OMM at all. And I really think that just depends on what specialty you go into, because let's say you specialize in surgery. You're not going to really use that OMM. You're not going to use that a whole lot if you're going to perform surgery on somebody. The osteopathic principles can definitely be applied to MDs as well. As osteopaths, we believe that a patient is the focus of our healthcare. We also believe that the body is able to self-heal and self-regulate itself. Hence, I guess the preference of OMT over traditional, I guess, Western medicine. But that's not to say that we don't use or prescribe medicine at all either. There are definitely times when OMT can be beneficial, and we can't use OMT for everything as well. It just depends on the circumstance. I like to think of OMT as actually like an extra tool we have in our toolbox. Your hands and palpatory skills are the best tools you'll have as a DO and as a doctor in general. I think what really kind of made me want to go to a DO school is because growing up, I was so used to, I grew up in a very traditional kind of Chinese household. We used Chinese medicine, and we always try to use natural ways to help heal ourselves. So I think that really suited my way of, I guess, approaching medicine. That's why I chose a DO school. Also, osteopathic schools tend to be more primary care focused than research focused, as opposed to some MD schools. So that's another reason why I applied to TCOM. Okay, next question. What's a typical day like, schedule free time wise? A typical day consists of class about 8 a.m., sometimes 9 a.m., and sometimes 10 a.m. Not really sure. Depends on what's going on campus. And then the latest, it'll be around 5 if we have lab. If we don't have lab, we usually get out around 3. And then I take a breather. This means going to go work out, catch up on TV. Taking a nap is a good one. Or I'll just chill with friends at Starbucks, probably because I'm a coffee addict, let's face it. Um, and that's another thing I recommend, going to go work out regularly if you don't already. It's a good habit to get into. It's also a great stress reliever and also good for your body and mind and soul. Also make sure to eat well. Kind of thing I picked up on in medical school is we kind of make all our meals on the weekends and just kind of put them in the fridge or the freezer, and then that way we don't have to like worry about cooking throughout the week. Definitely save some time. So usually I'll go work out, come back and shower, then I'll eat dinner, go back to the library and study until about 10 or 11. Free time wise, you kind of have to schedule it in, but I mean, there's going to be more free time after an exam, obviously, since you don't want to go study immediately afterwards. Like, I mean, who does? But I take it easier on the weekends than I do on the weekdays because it's the weekend. I tend to wake up later, enjoy, going out. But if it's a weekend before an exam, not going to happen. Let's see, next question. How did you handle your interviews? I'd say I was professional but personable. I know everyone says to be yourself, but it's so true. They just want to get to know you as a person. They want to be able to associate the paper application kind of person to the person they meet, physically, I guess you could say. The interviews I had were really like conversations with doctors. That's all the more reason to go shadow because you get more opportunities to actually converse with doctors, kind of get in the habit of asking questions and just talking, just getting a hang of, just having conversation with a fellow doctor, I guess. And one of the best things to do is just to practice. I'd say practice with friends, family, especially, I'd say if they still have it, go to a mock interview in the health professions office or whatever they call it now. That really helped me and get, input from advisors. Okay, next question. Have you met anyone in med school that wasn't the perfect applicant? Yes. I'd say TCOM has more non-traditional applicants than you'd have at your other MD schools. There's quite a few people here that chose medicine as a second career than your typical MD schools, I feel. And I think that's the case for a lot of DO schools. There's also people here that just like with other MD schools that weren't science majors. There's also people in our class that are PAs, or they used to be PAs. There's a chiropractor in our class. There's a couple nurses, and there's definitely people who are married and have kids as well, and I applaud them for going through with medical school with that. Any recommendations for the girls? I'd say enjoy college, explore, study abroad if you can. I think that was one of the things I regretted, not being able to study abroad. Even though I was a biochem major, my schedule didn't really allow for it, but I'd say if you can, do it. It's definitely I think a good opportunity. You could go on a mission trip. That's kind of killing two birds with one stone. Get involved in organizations you're interested in and start forming relationships with faculty early on and keep up with them because these are the people who are going to be writing your recommendation letters, and you want someone who gets to know you and not just what grade you made in the class. Okay, so I think that's it, but don't be afraid to email me if you have any questions or concerns. Missy has my email, or Facebook me if you can find me on Facebook. And don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you have any other concerns about med school, shoot them my way. I think that's it. So have fun at your meeting and the rest of your day or whatever you have planned. And yeah, that's it. Bye.